All right. All right. Before we get started, I want to share with everyone something I received in the mail the day before yesterday. If I can switch my cameras here. This came in the mail from um, George Hart, and it's probably hard to see, but this is a copy of a receipt. Uh, a receipt for books purchased by Clifford Ashley. He had purchased books from a bookseller in Glasgow, Scotland, and this particular receipt was found in some books that somebody had acquired from his personal library. And uh, George Hart has this actual original receipt, and he just made a photocopy of it and sold and sent it to me. What's interesting is it gives the street address of where Clifford was living at the time, and it was at 31 8th Street in New Bedford. Um, so it might be an interesting thing for us to check out while we're up there. All right. All right, so we're going to get started. What we're going to attempt to do is tie a bowline in a bottle. And before Christmas, I tied 12 of these um, for a fireman up in Glen Dickey's neck of the woods. He's a fire chief of some firehouse, and he wanted a bunch of these to give away to folks in his firehouse. So um, it took me a little while to do it, and in doing so, I figured out a way of making it go a little bit faster, and I'll share that with you tonight. All right.
Could I just ask, would it also work in a rum bottle?
I'm sure it would. The
Okay,
and
alrighty then.
I have a rum bottle here that I intend on using. What you want to be careful of is that the neck of your bottle isn't too long because that makes it much more challenging. And you also want to make sure that the bottle isn't too narrow. So if it's flask shaped, it'll be really difficult to do. You won't have much maneuvering room inside the bottle. Okay.
I'll check it out.
All right. So what I like to use for this is hemp line that I get from R&W Rope. Um, uh, it might be Langman ropes. I'm not sure for sure what the brand is, but it's essentially half an inch hemp line, which I think is about 12 millimeters roughly. And this stuff is really nice to work with. Um, I really like it. So what I do first is I tie a bowline that I think will fit inside the bottle.
Excuse me, is that
Yes, ma'am.
natural,
Yes,
natural hemp or the synthetic? Okay, thank you.
natural hemp. Yeah. So I tie a bowline that I think will fit in the bottle, and then I make sure I have a little bit of extra to work with outside the bottle when I'm finished. I then untie it, and I put a whipping, a nice whipping on the end that'll be inside the bottle. It's hard to see here. And then I use a little bit of wood glue. This is one of my cheats. A little bit of wood glue right there to hold this in place for me. And I let it set for, 12 hours or something like that. So it's firmed up nicely. Um, and then the other thing that I do is I attach a small leader or a small messenger, if you will, on the other end of the line to give me something to grab a hold of. Um, so that's the line I'm going to use. The other thing I use is I'll have another piece of line, probably 18, 24 inches, that I'll use to this is the trick, the second trick that I've come up with to help this process go a little easier. And I'll show you how this gets used here shortly. I special tools, just a coat hanger that's been fashioned into a little hook on the end, and a cheap chopstick for pushing. And I think that's about all of it. Yeah. So let's see if we can do this. I'm going to try to make sure I do a better job this time of keeping the bottle in the frame. I didn't do so well last time. So let's see if I do better this time. I'm going to maximize my screen so it makes it easier for everybody to see here. Hopefully that's better.
Oh, good.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by taking the bite of the bowline, and I'm going to force it into the neck of the bottle. So you can't really use line that's much larger than this because this just isn't going to work. All right, that's going to fit. So before I put it in, I'm going to tie this 18 to 24 inch piece of line through the bite. Okay. Now I'm going to keep most of this line outside the small twine outside of the bottle. This will allow me to pull the bite around and into a direction that I need once it's inside. I could try to twist it and grab it with a hook, but having this line really helps to pull it around.
So slightly different skill set. We were doing sail repairs on our tall ships, and someone said that corks were a good thing to put broken needles in, and we used them as pins. And I said, "Oh, okay." And the next week I showed up with a bag full of corks, and one of them looks at me and says, do we have to talk about maybe a problem?" And I said, "I'm a Girl Scout. We save things just in case we might need it." So that was many years
Nice.
of saving corks, just in case.
Very nice.
All right.
Or,
Well, I should have practiced more before this evening, but I think we're getting there.
it's clever of you to make it look difficult so we feel better.
That's very kind.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very kind.
He's had a lot of practice emptying the bottles.
Practice makes perfect.
So we don't recommend emptying the bottle the same night you're going to use it.
No, I learned that the hard way.
It might go smoother.
Okay. Keep me honest here, Pete. Make sure I stay in frame.
You're good.
if it's not too much of a distraction for Jim, I'll
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
mention a few things. The website was down for a little bit. It's back up and running. We are trying to update it as much as possible to make it user friendly and make membership in the North American Guild as having some value. So one of the things we're going to try and work on is a resource list that members will have access to, listing tool makers, rope makers, and at this point, if once we get it added, and if somebody's got something additional that they would like added in there, please let me know, and we'll add it. I still got to do some studying on how to get a new page in there. The other thing too is Christine Crawford is working actively as the membership secretary on developing new member packages that will have a letter from Jim, have a few other items in there to try again. When somebody joins the guild, is make it something that they enjoy doing and look forward to participating in, and have a little bit of information. We directors meeting the other night, we discussed the fact that we do have the date now for New Bedford meeting. It's posted on the website. We don't have any details right now regarding the hotel. It looks like the cost for attending will be nominal, since the venue is not charging us, so that'll be nice. But I think they have some requests for the membership to help them do a few things at the museum, so that we'll all look forward to that. Trying to think of some other things. I didn't want to dig them out because I've got them ready for bringing them to Saturday. I had some banners made up with our new logo and to use for public display. If somebody's doing a public event and would like to borrow one, I have a 4x4, and then I think it's a 4x5 banner. All I would ask is that you pay for the shipping to and from to yourself. So you just would need to email me with the details if you want to borrow those at some point in the future. And we'll also have those at the New Bedford meeting.
All right. Okay, we're getting a little closer. Once I get the bite through the loop that goes around,
Jim, bring it over. There you go.
Thank you. Once I get that loop through there, it turns around. I now have my loop here that's attached to the top of the standing end of the line. And I have the line that's going around the bite inside the bottle. So what I do is I now untie this reef knot. And I figure out which end I need to pull on. And I've got a little piece of tape to make sure that I don't pull this end inside the bottle for now. The other end I'm going to attach to my little messenger here.
By the way, you're talking about the AGM in New Bedford. I have a question about that. I'm looking at the um, Internet that says that's going to be from September 11th to 15th, which is a Thursday to a Monday. But the IGKT-NA AGM's website, on the announcement on the website, says it'll be September 11th to 14th, which would be Thursday to Sunday. So is it ending on the 15th or the 14th? The two disagree.
It was my understanding that it will go through Sunday. I don't remember if there was any planned event for Monday, but I could be wrong on that.
We currently
Okay.
don't have anything planned for that day. However, from what I understand, in past visits to New Bedford, there were several folks that made a trip after the meeting up to, I'm not good with the geographical area there, to Mystic in Connecticut.
We'll
So,
be down.
okay, thank you. So that might be something that would interest folks. Okay,
Sure.
so go ahead.
That's what the announcement says, New Bedford 11th to 14th on the IGKT-NA website, but the Internet says 11th to 15th, and they can't both be right.
Yeah, we'll get that sorted out, David. All right,
Thank you.
so it looks like I've got my the messenger on the top of the standing end attached to the line that goes down and around and through the bite. And this is where my time saving comes through, and that I pull that through, and that helps me guide that standing end down into the bottle and through that bite. So essentially what we're doing is we're tying the bowline backwards than the way you would normally tie it. Instead of tying the way we are taught, we're tying starting with the bite. And now let's see if we can finagle things here. Ah,
Success.
there we go.
Fantastic.
Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Woo. All right. So at this point, you remove your messenger there at the top and figure out how you want to finish it off on the top. I like to put a Matthew Walker knot here as a nice stopper, or I might put a Turk's head around the line here or something like that. But yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Oh, that's good.
Nice.
Oh,
Thank you.
took a little longer than what I was hoping for, but we got it.
I feel like I need a drink now.
Yeah. Yeah. Any questions? All right, let me go back to my other
So,
view.
Jim,
Yes, sir.
that first turn that you were making,
Yeah.
I got the sense it's got to be one way or the other. So when you're looking at it from the top down, does it go clockwise, counterclockwise, or does it matter?
Are you talking about when I shove the eye into the line or into the bottle?
Right, were you pushing it down and you were getting it to loop around
Yeah,
the
it's funny, Howard. I'm right-handed. I will tie a right-handed bowline, the
Mhm.
way most right-handed people will tie one. But I want to say that 90% of these, when I get done, they turn out as left-handed bowlines.
Hmm. Okay.
It may be because I'm tying it backwards, starting with the bite rather than
Mhm.
ending with the bite.
When you say left-handed, do you mean that it's a mirror image of the usual way we see a bowline, or do you mean that the end is on the outside of the loop?
No, it's a mirror image. So typically, a right-handed person will start with the making a figure of a six, right? And then come up through the inside of the six around the standing end and then back
Right.
down. And in this case, it's just a mirror image of that.
Well, being that
So
this
the end is still to the inside of the loop, but it's
Yeah.
just mirror reversed. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Right.
It would be the
Thank
way that most left-handed people would tie a bowline.
Right.
well, being this is twisted fiber, it's going to turn the way it wants to turn. If you were using a braided line, then you might be able to.
Hmm.
I got the idea it was just going to turn the way it was going to turn.
Yeah, that could be Teresa. But
Had
any
you
other?
tried it with anything other than the hemp?
I tied one years ago in a dock line, and I was never happy with that. It was a braided line, and I just was not happy with that. Um, and it doesn't exist anymore. I untied it after I had it around for a couple of years, and I just wasn't happy. So I was able to untie it, and then I went with the hemp.
If
I
you,
can offer that after the last time we were shown this, it so inspired me that I, gave them a whirl. I found some nice jute of different sizes at Hobby Lobby that is supple enough to work with, and it was, it fared up nicely, the whole bit. So the only thing that I didn't like about it was the finish at outside the bottle at the neck. It didn't stay as nice looking, so it required a covering or something like that. So um, with that, I'll see if I can show these. Um, so these are welding rods from a local hardware store, and I made a there we go, a pusher, and then a pullers, and I have some of different lengths for different bottles. So there's another pusher, and then on the opposite end, I put a little L shape, so I was able to use that to rotate and twist and carry on. So, that's what I learned after your first one. Uh, Great exercise. There was a nice bottle at Hobby Lobby for it. I bought them all out, and they never restocked the shelf, so I'm back to the state store.
Here's another one I did with some smaller uh line with a globe knot on the end.
Mhm.
Um, This is okay, but I don't like it so much because somebody could claim that I tied the knot outside the bottle and squeezed it in there somehow. And with the other line, nobody can claim that.
Mhm.
Are there other examples of different knots in the bottles or just the Bowline?
I've seen a figure eight and I haven't attempted a figure eight yet.